Let's talk about this true story, a clear shot. Welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore. I am honored today to have the director of A Clear Shot, Nick Leisure, is here with us, and one of the stars of A Clear Shot, Mario Van Peebles, needs no introduction at all. Director, actor, whose family has a legacy in has a legacy in film that
Don't stop, don't stop.
yeah, like an incredible legacy that's now spanning three generations now, Mario, right? That's amazing. It's I'm trying to think where you have three generations of filmmakers in the family. That's remarkable. So thank you for
kind of like the Jacksons. We're like the Jacksons, but without the talent.
Oh, come on. That's not true. Now I'm really curious about this project because I remember
You haven't heard me sing. Nick's heard me try to sing, so he knows the deal, man.
Well,
I see him sing a couple times.
This film is amazing because it's based on a true story. Good Guys, oddly, it was a Good Guys, right, Nick?
Yeah.
So which has been renamed in the film The Leisure Guys, which I love that. I love that slight change. I thought was good.
That wasn't my choice.
How did this all come together? What inspired you? And I think I know actually from reading about the film, but what inspired getting this film made?
You know, I was at a point where I was ready to make a different film than this one, and this was a story that obviously I witnessed when I was young. I was like 13 years old when this had happened. I was a couple blocks down the street from the actual incident, and we saw it on the news and decided, hey, let's go over there and check it out. You know, the Good Guys was connected to the mall that we all hung out at when we were teenagers. So we went over there and checked it out. And as I got older and became a filmmaker, I said, you know, maybe one day I'll turn this into a movie. So it happened.
Well, it's rare that like you experience this event like this and then you go on to make a film about it. Mario, what got you involved in this project? And you're a filmmaker in your own right. What got you involved in this project?
I thought Nick was really he had a good heart and he had a sense of adventure. And I thought he was going to, he was taking on something big. And I'm, not to, make a pun, but he seemed like a good guy. And also I didn't have to do the hard work. I just got to act, man. When you're used to having to direct and write and produce and do the catering, for someone to come in and say, yo, man, we're going to just pay you a little bit of money. It won't be a lot of money. But you're going to make a character that I think can be compelling and interesting. And oddly, right now, more socially relevant than ever. Let's do it. So I'm always excited to, try to do, a couple films for the studios and then a couple of nice independents that I want to do. Because sometimes studio films chase an audience and independent films can lead an audience. And I thought Nick was taking a chance on leading an audience, and that, the character that I was going to play in some interesting ways was, it wasn't something I played before. I've played many good police officers, and I've had the opportunity to work with many good police officers. But this guy I was playing was someone that wasn't using his gun. He was using his sense of diplomacy. His weapon, his only real weapon, was people skills. Could he come into a difficult situation where you had minorities, happened to be Vietnamese this time, who were disenfranchised, and you had a police force, which is mostly good cops, but you've always got a couple, as we see, bad apples, someone ready to put that knee on your throat. And then in the middle of that, my character has to bring diplomacy and say, look, everybody stand down. Violence is not the answer. Let's de-escalate this situation. So I thought Nick seemed like a good dude, and I didn't have to do the hard work. And I like to do movies that entertain but make you think a little bit. I say make America think again. And I thought that Clear Shot was a clear opportunity to do that.
Well, Make America Think Again could be a whole campaign slogan at this point. I think we need it. What I really enjoyed about the film was the way it balanced the two main conflicts, which was the conflict with the people being taken hostage, right? So you see the conflicts happening at this electronics store, but you also see the conflicts happening behind the scenes where you've got two factions of cops. Basically yourself, Mario, playing the cop that's like, let's do diplomacy. Let's see let's get the backgrounds of these people. Let's find out what their motivations are. And then you've got this other faction of the police that are, let's just go. Let's just get this over with. I mean, I kind of feel like that battle is being played out, is being played out now and has been played out in other scenarios. Nick, is that what attracted you to the material, or when you crafted this story? You've got these sort of, these revolving conflicts that are really compelling.
Yeah, when I originally did background on the story and spoke to reporters and the sheriff and stuff like that, and actual some of the people that were actually there, it captivated me because I wanted to see it from both perspectives. Because Sacramento Police Department was really concerned about how they were going to look, because this is the first time they had dealt with a situation on this capacity, and they really screwed up when it came to this hostage situation. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't really making them look so bad, and also not making like the gunmen look that bad. I wanted to kind of show it from both perspectives of, why are these kids who are immigrants coming in, and obviously they're not thinking right, and they're feeling a certain way, and they're letting their emotions get to them. So I wanted to show that side of it, which is why we showed the backstory from them a little bit on uh, what's making them go in and do this, or telling them to go in and do this. And then also I wanted to show on the police side, especially with Mario's character, where you've got sheriffs and cops saying, let's just go in and shoot everybody up, and let's kill these guys and stuff like that. And then you've got Mario's character where he's got more compassion, and he's like, hey, this isn't the right way to go. And Mario kind of came in and like polished off his character even more, which I loved, where he dirtied himself up and undid his tie, and he's drinking a little bit and stuff. So kind of gave it more of a personal feeling, where it's like, even though he's going through his own personal things in his life, as you could tell, maybe he's going through a breakup or a divorce or something, and he's still got compassion for people and these kids that are in there, and he's trying to understand what they're going through and trying to get them out safely.
Well, I have a question. Was it a little intimidating, Nick, to be working with Mario, who is the type of actor that's also a craftsman in the sense of understanding filmmaking and the craft of filmmaking? Not every actor is also a director and has all of those things in their head. Did it intimidate you a little? And did Mario offer you some advice and help at all? I'm just curious.
No, Mario only got the part because Mandela was in the movie, so I told him he could be in it too. Now I'm just playing. But Mario was actually like super chill, man. Working with Mario, I love working with Mario, because even though he is a director, he doesn't come onto a set and like try to demand things. He wants you to like get your vision out, and he's there to help. And he did that with me on my set. I mean, we ran lines with him in his in his room and stuff, and we went over things and ideas, and he threw out ideas and I threw out ideas, and he's a team player, and he's not one of these actors that's coming in and saying, I need this and I need that, and I need some Dom Perignon on the side and whatnot. I mean, he came and he kept the morale of everybody who's on the set like in a good mood. There was I think it was the last night that we shot with Mario. We shot to like 4 a.m. and it was freezing cold out there, and we're trying to keep the cars from like freezing over and actors warm and stuff like that. And Mario's got his little boombox out, and he's dancing in the streets and keeping everybody's energy up. So he's a team player. He's a great actor, as you know, and he's also a great person to work with. And I appreciate him coming on this project.
I'm curious for you, Mario. Did you, having the background that you do,
we made it fun. There are three loves in life. There's love what you do, love and enjoy the folks you do it with, and love what you say with your work. And with Nick, I met him. I thought he was a good dude. We enjoyed working together. We both have a sense of humor. But I think also when crunch time came, Nick would be like, dude, if you don't mind, run lines with so-and-so. I'm going to get this shot over there. I'll come back. I'll show you a scene, give you some notes on it. So we could double up on it, and with no ego, which was really cool. And I think, get everybody moving. And, when you work on an independent film, there's some people that have more experience than others. And if you make sure that everyone feels engaged and like they're part of the process, and you're open to it, then it can really rock and roll. And I think Nick got that. So I think he was able to get a lot of good qualities from different actors. And we didn't have a lot of time to shoot the movie, but what again I'm proud of is how oddly relevant the movie is to everything, including what we're going through right now. You think about what's happening right now and how history doesn't always directly repeat itself, but it rhymes, and that to some degree, we talk about looting. Let's take the subject of looting versus peaceful protest. Well, a lot of countries and nations were looted, and they were looted by the colonizers. I mean, imagine if I not only went into your store and looted it, but I took your stuff and put it where everyone could see it and charged them money to come see it. Well, that's what the British did. That's what the French did. They called it. Well, they didn't call it looting. They called it colonizing, and they put it in a room, and they put it in display, and they call those places museums. So they would take stuff from India, just wholesale loot. Mug, pillage, rape. This country oppressed that one, and it was often people of color. I spent time in Vietnam recently as a tourist, not as under very pleasant circumstances. And the history is interesting, how the French colonized and the Americans came in and did their thing on it. And we're often, what happens is with that is that you get eventually the chickens come home to roost. You get a blowback. And I think that, so you get folks, because we go all around the world and we sell our ideal of the American way, right? You got to have a lifestyle like this, a lifestyle like that. But then there are a lot of people that can't get that American way, and they come to America and they feel disenfranchised, and they're not a part of it. And Dr. King says we either learn to live together as brothers and sisters, or we perish together as fools. So they come to this country, and they're not, although their experience might not be my personal experience, they are minorities. And whether you're black or brown or Asian, you look at the dollar and it's all white guys. You look at the presidents, other than Obama, and it's mostly white guys, including even Santa Claus. And you start to get this sense that it's built on white male supremacy. And until that changes, and all lives matter, black lives, brown lives, and yellow lives, and women's lives matter as much as the original colonizers do, we're going to have a disparity. And that disparity is going to lead to conflict. And I think what Nick did gracefully was insert this character into this place of conflict, where he had to deal with, on this side, some good cops, but cops that are overzealous. The cop that put his knee on Floyd's neck had 18 strikes against him. How many strikes do you want to let a guy get? Baseball at 3. Do you know what I mean? 18 strikes. So I think it's incumbent upon good cops to out the bad ones, who make them look bad. I played many good cops, and I've worked with good cops who are very frustrated about that. I also think it's an interesting thing for filmmakers to do a film like this and make us think again, make us go and say, wow, what are the commonalities between black, brown, yellow, white, all of it? And that's what I like about this character. My character is a healer in chief. That's the kind of president we need right now. We need a healer in chief. You don't need someone saying, dominate the other people, kill, shock and awe. That's not what we need, man. We need America's a beautiful place. We need to heal and come together. Get these dumbass looters out of here, no doubt. But also understand that there are some that are being stoked by right-wing groups. So I hope that all the people that are in the streets vote. I hope that the people see a clear shot. But I hope that if people think when they see a movie, I hope that they think about who they're going to vote for, and then know that every time you don't vote, you make someone else's vote count more.
What I love about the film, that's okay. I like what Chris Rock has to say about, some jobs you can't really have any bad apples. You know what I mean? It's like American Airlines doesn't say like, most of our pilots are pretty good, but we got a couple bad apples that, some of our pilots, that crash every once in a while. You know what I mean? There's just some professions you can't have bad apples, right? Like, so I like how he has addressed that issue, but things feel different this time. Because I was in LA, during the '92 riots. I remember Rodney King gave that speech right outside of a building I used to work at on Wilshire Boulevard. I vividly remember all of that, and I remember feeling just saddened after, because it's nothing's going to change. Something feels different now. It feels different now, and so yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I was over at on Fairfax to at one of the protests, and it does, what struck you is that Americans of color, Black Americans, may be the target, but all of America is feeling the pain. All of America is standing up. You've got white kids out there and brown kids out there saying Black Lives Matter. They're starting to say, wow, we see the videotape this time. Now, that's a good thing. But the problem is you still have some right-wing groups that are encouraging violence, aside from some crazy left-wingers. And, so the peaceful protests, it's hard to separate them from some of the knuckleheads. That's the problem. But it does feel different. I thought the new charges today were helpful. You can always plead down from something. And so we don't know what will be. When we saw the Rodney King tape and we saw the Rodney King getting beat up, how that all-white jury determined that there was no, overuse of police force, I don't know. I don't understand it. But what I do like about A Clear Shot is that you see on both sides, on the side that takes the store hostage, there's some folks you can reach and teach and save, and there's going to be one or two knuckleheads that you can't. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, there's some folks you can reach and teach and save, and there'll be a few knuckleheads that you can't. But that middle zone, there's a lot of great folks that you can reach and talk off the ledge, and that's what I like, Nick. So thank you for letting me play that role for you, Nick, and bring all.
Well, I think
what's man letting me. I would say stuff and they'd be like, "Well, what did he just say?"
Well, I think what's that's okay. Well, what's special about the film is that it really does represent so many sides,
Mm-hmm.
So any Nick, what do you say to people looking just to audiences? This is more than an escape. This is a film that is dealing with issues head on. Really want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I think like Mario said, is really relevant right now. And even in the casting process, when we cast this film, I always want to make the films that I'm doing diverse as much as I can. But this, wasn't a film where we just purposely made like everybody either Black or everybody either Asian or Hispanic or, hey, what's up, Mandela? I think that it wasn't too hard for me when it came to creating this film because I was basing it or I was inspired by a true story. So I didn't want to make it, a biopic or anything like that, but I wanted to, create a story that was going to be compelling and let people watch it and, hopefully the audience will like it. I think Mario did a pretty good job too.
I think you did a great job, Mandela, yourself as well. Thank you for joining us. Actually, what is it like now to be part of such a legacy of filmmaking and acting, and to be a part of this project?
The question was,
what's it like to be a part of this project and part of the legacy of? I'm just curious.
No, it's always a great time working with Pops here because we have so many different working relationships. We have the director-actor, we have the father-son, we have a pals relationship. So we really know how to code switch when we're in these kind of situations. And oh, we're on set now. It's more business-like, so it's show up on time, be the first one there, last one to leave, and then we're here down in Mexico filming. Let's hit the beach. We can switch out and be in buddy mode, and it's really nice to be able to have those different nuances within one relationship.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Gives you notes or anything like that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's got to be great to get notes.
What the project is on booth.
I mean, it's a learning experience, right? I mean, just having your father able to pass along that amazing legacy. So, Nick Leisure, Mario, and Mandela Van Peebles, thank you so much for talking to us on the Film Threat Podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.